The rain does not fall like water anymore. It falls like memory, thick, relentless, dragging the sky down onto the jungle. It clings to leaves, to skin, to breath. Somewhere in the canopy something cries out, a bird or a wounded thing. Or maybe it is only the wind, pretending to be alive. Private Daniel Mercer presses his back against the trunk of a splintered palm and tries to breathe without letting the earth hear him. Mud fills the grooves of his boots. Leeches press their soft, secret mouths to his ankles. The air smells like rotting fruit, wet metal, and fear that has been sweating from bodies for weeks. His rifle is raised. It is always raised now, a movement in the trees, not the sharp crack of a soldier, not the careful shuffle of an ambush. This sound is frantic, branches breaking, leaves tearing, someone running without care for silence. A trap, he thinks. Has to be. Don't shoot, Sergeant Collins whispers. Let 'em show their hand. Then they burst from the green. Not soldiers, not enemies, women. Figures stumble into the open clearing, soaked to bone, hair tangled and clinging to their faces like seaweed. Thin cotton robes hang from their frames, ripped and stained dark. One is barefoot. Blood streaks her shin. Another clutches a small cloth bundle to her chest as if holding a child that isn't there. No, no, please. One cries, her voice high, snapped by terror. She drops to her knees, hands raised. Mud coats her palms, her sorrow. Daniel's finger is still on the trigger. Time stalls, thick as honey. They're women, he murmurs as if naming them makes them safe. Behind him another rifle trembles. From the woman's shaking lips pours a broken stream of English. Learned in fragments, in whispers, in forbidden memory. Help us, please. Don't let them come back. Don't let the bombs. Her eyes are huge, reflecting the sky, the trees, the American helmets, and something deeper, a war too large to hold. Another collapses beside her, sobbing into the mud, pressing her forehead to the earth like a prayer. Daniel lowers his rifle. The metal is suddenly unbearably heavy, as if the gun, too, has grown ashamed. Around them, the jungle seems to stop breathing, and in that silence filled only with sobs and rain, a new kind of battle begins. Not for land, not for victory, but for mercy. They move slowly through the wreckage of green, not as captors and prisoners, but as survivors dragged along the same broken vein of earth. The path is nothing more than trampled vines and ghostly footprints, filled with rainwater. Every step makes a sound like the land is sighing beneath them. The women walk between the soldiers, flanked yet untouched, as though the men are afraid of what their hands might do. Daniel watches their shoulders, sharp as broken glass beneath thin, soaked fabric. He notices the smallest things, a girl's fingers curled inward from cold, another's lips cracked and pale, the way one woman whispers again and again to a tiny, mirrored locket hidden in her sleeve. They do not speak to the Americans at first. They speak to ghosts. In hushed Japanese, broken and trembling, they remind each other of rules that no longer matter. Do not look into their eyes. They are monsters. They will cut your hair, your tongue. Better to die than be touched by them. Daniel catches only fragments. The sound, the terror. He does not understand the words, but he understands what fear smells like. It is old and familiar. It smells like home the night before a letter arrives. It smells like sweat in a trench. One of the women, the youngest, can't be more than 17. Her name whispered again and again by the others is Aiko. She stumbles over a root, and Daniel reaches out instinctively. His fingers hover in the air, inches from her arm. She flinches as if struck. He pulls back, ashamed of the air between them. The jungle opens to reveal a ruined village in the distance. Huts burned black. Roofs collapse like folded wings. The women make a sound together, a soft animal moan. This place, once a life, now only a memory carved in ash. They told us, Aiko whispers in fractured English, tasting the language like something poisonous. They said Americans would laugh at us while we died. Daniel swallows the bitter knot behind his ribs. Then don't look at us, he murmurs. We won't laugh. She does not answer. But for the first time, her eyes rise, barely an inch, and meet the edge of his shadow. In her gaze is a war no weapon could ever win. And in that moment he realizes something colder than the rain. They have not escaped a battlefield. They have simply walked into a quieter one. The camp does not look the way war is supposed to look. There are no screams, no raised fists, no barking in a language sharp as broken glass. Only rows of canvas tents sagging slightly in the rain, and the low murmur of voices somewhere inside. A kettle whistles. Someone laughs in an ordinary sound, careless, alive. The women hesitate at the edge of it, like ghosts who have wandered too far from their grave. A nurse steps forward. She is young, freckles dusted across her nose, her sleeves rolled up, as if this is only another long afternoon instead of the end of a world. "It's all right," she says slowly, hands open, palms visible. "You're safe." Safe. The word is so unfamiliar it might as well be a foreign language. Aiko sways, then collapses. Not from fear alone, but from the strange weight of relief crashing into her bones. Two soldiers catch her before she hits the mud. Their hands are careful, as if touching glass, not flesh. Inside the medical tent, light spills in through narrow openings in the canvas ceiling. It makes pale squares on the ground. The women stare at them, as if sunlight itself has never been allowed inside a war. Bowls are handed out. Steam rises. Soup. The smell hits them all at once. Salt, vegetables, something rich and impossible. One woman begins to cry instantly. The sound is small at first, then unraveling, as if years of silence are tearing open in her chest. Keiko, the quiet one with the diary, brings the spoon to her lips. Her hand shakes so badly the metal clicks against her teeth. She tastes it. Warmth spreads across her tongue, down her throat, into a body that had only known ache. She sobs, not because it is delicious, but because it is proof of life. Later, the nurse presses a bar of soap into her hands. It is thick, white, dense with scent. Flowers. Keiko closes her eyes and holds it against her cheek. It is the softest thing she has touched in months. "This is for you," the nurse says, tapping the bar with her fingers. "For washing. For washing. As if there will be tomorrows worth being clean for." In the far corner of the tent, Daniel watches, his rifle now leaning uselessly against a table leg. He sees the women touch their faces, their arms, the blankets, as if afraid they might vanish. He realizes then, their greatest shock is not that they are alive. It is that the people they were taught to fear are the ones who chose to save them. And somewhere between the steam of the soup and the scent of clean soap, the first crack forms in everything they ever believed. Morning arrives without explosions. That alone feels wrong. Sunlight filters through trees still dripping from the night's rain, scattering gold across the damp earth. Somewhere beyond the tents, a bird sings with careless confidence. The women sit up slowly, wrapped in borrowed blankets, and for one confused moment they expect to be back inside the dark, choking cave. But there is no stone above them, only sky. Breakfast is carried in metal. Tins, eggs, bread, something, sweet made of oats and sugar. The richness of it makes their stomachs clench in disbelief. Back home, rice had become a myth. Here, food is served as if it is endless. "Too much," one whispers, staring at the full plate, eyes shining with both longing and shame. A soldier shrugs gently. "There's plenty." Plenty. The word lands heavily in the air. Keiko watches another. Americans scrape untouched bread into a bin, and her breath catches in her throat. Back home, her mother once cried over a single grain that fell to the floor. Here, abundance is so ordinary it is thrown away. Later, they are given small hygiene kits, toothbrushes wrapped in paper, tiny mirrors no bigger than a hand. When Keiko finally sees her reflection, she nearly drops it. She does not recognize the woman inside. Her cheeks are hollow, her hair uneven, clinging to her face in lifeless strands. But her eyes are still there, alive, real, watching. A nurse touches her shoulder gently and smiles. In that soft gesture lives an unfamiliar thing: respect. The women begin to realize something even more startling than the food. They are not being treated like enemies. They are being treated like people. Outside the camp, they catch glimpses of a world untouched by ruin. Houses with windows, fences neatly aligned, laundry hanging in the sun, children in the distance, life unbroken. The contrast slices into them. At night, whispered voices ripple through the tent. Why are they kind? What does that mean about the war? What does that mean about us? Gratitude tangles with guilt, safety with shame, each clean plate. Each gentle voice feels like a betrayal of a home now starved and burning. Keiko writes, her pencil pressing deep into the paper. If the enemy shows me mercy, does that make me disloyal? Or does it finally make me free? Outside, the camp sleeps peacefully. Inside, an invisible battle grows louder with every passing hour. The hardest nights are the quiet ones. No bombs, no shouting, no trembling earth. Only the slow chorus of breathing in the tent and the distant, lonesome call of insects beyond the canvas walls. Silence used to mean death was nearby. Now it only means there is space, and that space fills with memory. On the third evening, letters arrive. The Red Cross symbol is stamped in red, sharp against the pale envelopes. Names written in careful foreign hands. When Aiko sees hers, her knees give way, and she sinks onto the narrow cot as if the paper itself weighs more than her body. Her fingers hesitate at the edge. Paper has become something sacred, too precious to trust. Then she opens it. The words are faint, as though written by a hand already slipping away. My daughter. The fields no longer give as they did. We melt snow to drink. Your brother coughs through the nights. We have burned the last of the furniture for warmth. And still, we wait for you in every silence. The ink breaks where a tear once fell. Across the tent, another woman crumples inward, pressing a letter to her chest, a sound escaping her that is not quite a sob. More like wind breaking through a cracked door. The contrast is unbearable. Here, clean water, warm blankets, lit lanterns. There, ashes, hunger, absence. Kindness begins to hurt more than cruelty ever did. They starve. While we eat, Keiko whispers, the words scraping her throat raw. How can this be allowed? Daniel hears her from outside, the thin wall no shield at all against sorrow. He sits on the wooden steps of the mess hall, staring at his hands. He remembers his own mother's last letter, the ink smudged by dishwater, by tiredness, by love stretched thin. He understands that war does not draw clean lines. It only places suffering on different streets. Later that night, Aiko speaks into the darkness, unsure if she is confessing or praying. They told us Americans had no hearts. Her voice cracks. But I hear their laughter when they play cards. I see how they share their cigarettes. I feel how gently they touch the sick. A pause. If they have no hearts, then what have we been taught to become? No one answers. Above them, the sky holds its indifferent stars. Beyond the camp, the world still burns. And yet, wrapped in enemy blankets, beneath enemy protection, they begin to feel something more terrifying than fear. Change. The announcement comes without ceremony. No drums, no flags. No speech about honor or victory. Just a quiet gathering beneath a sky pale with morning light. The air smells of damp grass and coffee. A soldier reads from a paper held loosely in his hand, as if the words themselves are too heavy. You will be transferred in the coming days. Repatriation is being arranged. Repatriation. The word echoes through the women, strange and fragile. Home. But home is no longer a place. It is a memory half buried beneath smoke and bone. Aiko looks down at her hands. They are no longer shaking as they once did. Faint color has returned to her fingertips. There is even strength there now, strength born not of war but of survival. Keiko stands by the edge of the camp, staring at the thin line where the trees meet the open road. That road could carry her back to her country, back to the ruins of a world that shaped her, or forward into an unknown version of herself. She presses her diary to her chest one final time and writes, I was raised to believe the enemy had no face. But they do. And they smiled at me. They fed me. They made me remember how to be human. Daniel approaches quietly. He does not wear his helmet. Without it, he looks younger, less like a soldier, more like a boy who once had a life before the world tore itself apart. I guess this is goodbye, he says. Aiko nods. I once thought I would die the moment I saw you. And now? A pause, a breath. Now I will live because of you. The words are not romantic. They are not dramatic. They are simply true. She bows her head deeply, in a gesture filled with more history and respect than either of them can fully carry. He stands awkwardly, unsure what to do with hands that were trained only for destruction. Around them, the camp is dissolving. Tents coming down. Supplies being packed away. The small world that saved them already beginning to vanish. As the women are led toward the waiting truck, none of them look back at the jungle that once tried to swallow them. They look forward. At the open road, at the sky, at the fragile, terrifying possibility of tomorrow. War taught them how to fear. But in the end, it is mercy that changed them. And long after the echoes of gunfire fade into history, long after borders are redrawn and uniforms forgotten, one truth will remain, written silently in the hearts of those who survived. The enemy was never the people. It was the lies,